a vision came of higher realms than ours. That is in the inner world, in his inner consciousness now is happening. A vision came of higher realm than our, a consciousness of brighter fields and skies. The inner doors are opened and a new vision has come to him, and there is a consciousness of brighter fields and skies. He is now in a different land altogether. He is in different heavens altogether. These are the heavens of various gods and goddesses, of angels, of divine creatures, through which he is now able to move, not ordinary human being. See, there are Gandharvas, there are the musicians, there are celestial beings. Through them now he is moving them. A consciousness of brighter fields and sky, of beings. You see, he says beings. So all kinds of beings are there now in that world. Less circumscribed than brief-lived men. Yeah, our life is a brief life. Mortal life is a short life, and we live from life to life like that. But they live there permanently there. Less circumscribed. It does not mean that they are completely free. They are less circumscribed. They have their own limitations also, you see, of those beings. Of being less circumscribed than brief-lived men, and subtler bodies than these passing frames. Our body is a passing frame. You discard again and again and assume a new body continuously. That is the process of rebirth, you see. But the subtle body, if it is sufficiently psychized, can continue to be there always with you, see, subtle body, you see. And it's not one body, subtler body. There are sheaths below sheaths within us, you see. And subtler bodies than these passing frame, what the Gita says, in the case of we normal, mortal human beings, our body is like a worn out piece of cloth. Jirnani vastrani. It becomes worn out, the body, you discard it, assume another cloth, assume another dress, another robe, and go on like that. So that is what the passing frames mean, you see. Jirnani, it has become worn out. Vastrani, vastra means cloth, you see. Passing frame, objects too fine for our material grasp. In other words, our faculties, our instruments cannot really discern them, cannot study them. See, in the synthesis of yoga, Sri Aurobindo speaks of the telescope, the microscope, the scalpel, the retort. These are the chemical vessels, the alembic. These are the vessels, the instruments of a scientist. It is by these we study things. They cannot touch the kind of materials you have got in the inner world. No telescope can see those things. No microscope can penetrate through them. No retort, no scissor can cut that thing at all, you see. In fact, what the Upanishadic phrase is, it is finer than the fine. Finer than the fine. In fact, that is the phrase also in Savitri. Finer than the fine, you see. And you cannot cut it, you cannot touch it, you cannot see it. You have to have a different faculties for seeing them and understanding them. Our beings less circumscribed than the brief-lived men, and subtler bodies than this passing frame. Objects too fine for our material gram. Well, all right, I can understand that we may not be able to understand those objects, but then what are the instruments by which I can study them? My tools are useless, all right, I throw them away, I don't go by them. Tell me then, please, what are the instruments I can use for knowing them, understanding them? The pure perception, the faculty of cognition, of understanding, of receiving the knowledge directly from them, that is what you have to develop. You don't throw something and try to catch something. You see, you receive something from the star and then you say, okay, this is like this is like this is black star, this is the green star, this is red star, like that, you see. Or you look into the microscope and then from that you see it is this DNA, this protein, you can start studying like that, you see. Now, our faculties are basically governed by the physical instrument, and no physical instruments can penetrate into the subtler aspects of matter. No physical instrument can penetrate into the subtler aspects of matter. Totally out of the question, you see. So, what are the faculties that? The only faculties are that I have to develop new tools of cognition. Beyond perception, you have got inspiration, you have got revelation, you have intuition, you have to develop those faculties and get knowledge directly from them. It is the object which will tell me, I am like this, I am like this, I am like this. The object will tell you like that, you see. See, long ago, maybe 5,000 years, 7,000 years ago, we don't know, in the 7 stars here, there is a star which is actually a twin star. Or the 7 stars, you know, it's a twin star. Now, these people, the Vedic rishis, had seen that the star, the twin star, and they could see that there are 2 stars. Not only they could see these 2 stars, there were no telescopes in those days at all. But then there was a faculty by which they say, yes, there are 2 stars actually there. And not only that they could see these 2 stars, they could see that they are rotating around each other, around a common axis. These 2 stars are rotating like that. It is not one star going like that, but the 2 stars are going like that constantly. They were able to see that thing, the twin star. They called it Vasishtha and Arundhati. Vasishtha is the name of a rishi, Arundhati is his wife, and these 2 stars were named Vasishtha and Arundhati. They rotate around each other constantly. What a beautiful picturesque way of depicting that thing, because it is the rishi who has seen that thing. Now, that kind of knowledge does not come with the telescope alone. See, they already had that sort of a knowledge completely with them, and they understood the whole astronomy from that angle. Now, it is another matter that they didn't record how they approached, because that was not their concern. Their concern was different. The faculties have opened out, they have used the faculties have been expressed in certain manner, and for them the purpose was something different than that. Therefore, they didn't record as we do in the case of a scientific observation like that, you see. In fact, that is what the rishis did. How they knew about the properties of plants. The plants will say, yes, I can cure this, yes, I can cure that, yes, I can do that. The plants will come and tell them like that. The flowers will come and tell them like that. That is what the mother says. This flower is like this flower is like that, this flower is. It is the flower which is telling her like that, you see. And she is giving the names to them, you see. So, the faculty has to open out like that. It is a different kind of a knowledge altogether. Then your understanding of the physical nature also becomes a different kind of an understanding, you see. Objects too fine for a material ground acts vibrant to the superhuman light, vibrant to the superhuman light, you see. That is what happens, see. And movements pushed by superconscious force, and joy that never flow to mortal limb, and joy that never flow to mortal limb, at lovelier scene than earth and happier life, lovelier scene than earth and happier life. See. That is what they have already seen. Now, these are the faculties which have opened out because the inner vision has dawned. In the case of Ashwapati, the inner vision has come. He says, no, the inner place, they are revealing now all those things to him. He is knowing everything completely here. And movement and acts vibrant with a superhuman light. You see, acts vibrant, whatever you are doing, they are full of light energy, luminous, bright, and it is that which is taking you forward. Acts vibrant to superhuman light, and movement pushed by a superconscious force. It is not the ordinary force which is driving them, a much higher, bright, luminous force which is really driving them on. And movement pushed by superconscious force, and joys that never flowed to mortal limb. So our physical body had never experienced those joys, those ecstasies, you see, those happinesses, that gladness it never experienced, but now it has opened out to that thing. And joy that never flowed to mortal limbs, and lovelier scenes than earth and happier lives. Yeah, our earth is full of beautiful scenes. There are rivers, mountains, forests, greeneries, all kinds of things. There are animals, there are birds, beasts and all things. But here you are living in a different world altogether. And what we have here is really nothing compared with what they have got there. Lovelier scenes than earth and happier lives. Yeah, happier lives. Happier, yeah, well, they may be happier than us. That does not mean that that is the ultimate happiness. See, that is a stage of them. They are happy, they are contented. They are happy. Like Gandharvas, musicians, the celestial beings, angels, fairies, they are happy in their own world, you see. And lovelier scenes than earth and happier life. A consciousness of beauty and of bliss. A knowledge which became what it perceived. Knowledge is perceiving something, but it is not just that. The perception itself has become a fact, an actuality. It gets materialized. Knowledge is not just for the sake of knowledge. The idea is there. You have got a beautiful idea. It may be any, yes, I want this kind of flower, beautiful flower, idea is there. Now, that is not sufficient. That flower should become a material object in front of you. So, in one, that idea of a flower now itself becomes a flower. You have got an idea of a chair. Well, it has to become finally a chair physically. The idea of a chair has to become a physical chair ultimately. A consciousness of beauty and a blame, a knowledge which became what it perceived, replaced the separated sense and heart and drew all nature into its embrace. So this knowledge and this consciousness, they embrace now everything in them, you see. That is what has happened when he has entered into the inner world, into the inner planes, you see. The mind leaned out to meet the hidden worlds. Yeah, you see there are worlds, behind world, behind world, behind world. Now that mind is opening out. He has described beauty and bliss and heart. Now what about mind? Mind also is trying to discover them. The mind leaned out to meet the hidden world. Air glowed and teemed with marvelous shapes and hues. Air glowed and teemed with marvelous shapes and hues. So it's not an ordinary air. What kind of colors the air has got, we don't know there, you see. Our air is a colorless air, you see. Sometimes you have got beautiful colors also in the air. But then that is because of the other ingredients that are present there, not air proper by itself. Air glowed and teemed with marvelous shapes and hues. In the nostrils quivered celestial fragrances. On the tongue lingered honey of paradise. So, what you are tasting, the honey of paradise. What you are smelling, the odor is the odor of something celestial, of something beautiful, something fragrant, not ordinary scents and perfumes, what we have got here. In the nostrils quiver. See, he is now, because he is talking about the inner body, he is talking of our senses. Taste, smell, sight, hearing, all these faculties now, they are seeing something different because the inner domains have opened out. See, the mind leaned out to meet the hidden world. See, in our case, you got a taste, you have got sight, you have got sound, hearing, you smell, fragrance is there, all these faculties, touch is there, you see. Now, these faculties by themselves do not really convey to us due knowledge. It is the impression of this thing which is taken to the brain, and then the brain formulates and then, yeah, it is sweet, it is bitter, it is poisonous, like that, you see. It is what we have got here. Now, in other words, behind the senses there is the faculty of recognition. But behind this faculty of physical recognition, there is a higher faculty of what is called the manasa. behind five senses which I have got, is the mind. Mind is the main sense, and it is mind which says all that kind of a thing, you see. You think of food and suddenly your tongue starts watering. Now, see, the thought is coming and then it is coming, you see. Same way, you think of a fragrance, you should be able to smell that thing, but we don't see. You think of a beautiful picture, you should be able to see that picture. See, we don't see that thing. When it comes to food, yeah, we start to get, our tongue starts becoming wet, you see, no? Air glowed and tamed with marvelous shapes and hues. In the nostrils quivered celestial fragrances. On the tongue lingered the honey of paradise, a channel of universal harmony. Hearing was a stream of magic audience. Now he is talking of hearing. Ear. Hearing was a stream of magic audience. So hearing itself is a stream now moving, you see. A bed for occult sounds, earth cannot hear. Earth cannot hear those sounds at all. It is an occult sound, deep, secret, inner sound. Earth has no instruments to recognize those vibrations, those sounds. See? A bed because it is a stream. Therefore, it is a bed, you see. Hearing was a stream of magic audience, a bed for occult sounds, earth cannot hear. Out of a covered tract of slumber cell, the voice came of a truth submerged. Out of a covered tract of slumber, tract, a piece of land, region, slumber cell, the self of slumber, the self of sleep. Out of it, out of the slumber cell, means it is from the self of sleep, a voice is coming out. Coming out what? What is that voice? Of the truth which is submerged, which is below the mental cognition, which is like a ship under the sea, or like an object which is under the sea, submerged, you see. The voice came of a truth submerged, unknown, that flows beneath the cosmic surfaces. You see, the surface is there, below that submerged, there are truth voices. Those voices are coming out, and they are coming now into the domain of the self of sleep. Yes. Which means the self of sleep is getting awakened to those voices, you see, that flows beneath the cosmic surface, only mid an omniscient silence heard. Yeah, only when there is a great all-knowing silence, omniscient silence, all-knowing silence, you can hear the sound. But here, now they have opened up. The voice came of a truth. So that truth is there. In fact, where is it that truth is not present? Truth is present everywhere. Even behind falsehood, there is truth. Even behind evil, there is a truth. Even behind all our ignorance, there is a truth. We don't know of that thing. We only see the surface part of it, the ignorance. But there is truth there everywhere. That is the submerged truth. Unknown that flows beneath the cosmic surfaces, only mid an omniscient silence heard, held by intuitive heart and secret sense. Now, who is holding the truth? Intuitive heart and secret sense. These faculties of cognition, of understanding, of seeing, of listening, we don't have. But then there is the ear behind the ear, there is the eye behind the eye, there is the taste behind the taste. It is that faculty, that ear behind the ear, it is that which is listening to the sound and responding to that. Intuitive heart. You see, this is the intuition of the heart directly. It is not an intuition coming from mind or from other planes. Heart itself knows whether it is right or wrong. Heart itself will respond directly or indirectly, things around, you see. Intuitive heart. See, this is something very interesting from the point of view of psychology, that the heart itself has an intuition. It is not only the mind which is having intuition. In fact, one can even go a step further and say that even the body has its own intuition. The intuition does not stop with that. The heart has an intuition, the body also has an intuition of things, you see. We are crude people, we are not recognizing the possibility the body presents, and therefore we don't understand the intuition the body has. We don't understand. See, the body will tell you, you see, I am feeling very ill and all that kind. The body says, forget about that. I know. But we are not listening to the body. We will run to the doctor and do this and do that kind of thing. The body itself has an intuition, something which is very joyous and beautiful and true, but it gets lost in our daily activity. Same way the heart also has an intuition. The intuition of the heart comes directly from the contact the heart has with the soul. The soul is closest to the heart is closest to the soul, and therefore heart can receive directly something from the soul, and that is the intuition of the heart. What the soul is trying to prompt is giving something that heart receives and expresses itself with it. Very often you don't think that it should be done like that, but suddenly you feel this is not true, this should be done like that, you see. In what the heart is telling you its own response in a certain situation. Whether you listen to it or not is a different matter, but the heart is capable of receiving that kind of an intuition. Held by intuitive heart and only made an omniscient. Now, when can the heart listen to that intuition? When there is the omniscient silence. There has to be really all-knowing silence, then only it will respond to that. When there is that silence, then only it will respond. Only with an omniscient silence heard, held very intuitive heart and secret sense.